They promised each other the moon, but what do their stars say? Billkin and PP Krit light up the screen together, and we all want to know, is their connection just as magical behind the scenes? Their astrological charts reveal a mix of passion, harmony, and unexpected twists. Let's dive into their horoscopes and find out what makes their relationship so special. Hello stars, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Beatrice. I'm a professional astrologer and a huge BL fan, and today I'm analyzing the relationship horoscope of Billkin and PP Krit. I will talk about their relationship in a few minutes, but first let's take a look at their individual birth charts. Because their natal charts show us what kind of people they like and how they interact in relationships, be it friendships, romantic relationships, or a business partnership. Before starting with PP Krit, let me also mention that my next videos will be about First Kotang, Persenta, and Jungdang. Now back to PP Krit. He was born on the 30th of April 1999. As you will see, he is someone who carries a deep duality in his relationships. On one side, he craves stability, loyalty, and depth, something unshakable that feels like home. On the other, he has an unstoppable need for freedom, unpredictability, and space to evolve. His sun is in Taurus conjunct Saturn, the planet of structure and limitations, which means that he values loyalty and stability. He takes relationships seriously, but they aren't always easy for him. If he lets someone into his life, whether as a friend, a romantic partner, or a business partner, he expects them to be just as committed as he is. He doesn't open up easily, but when he does, he's in it for the long run. However, his moon and Mars in Scorpio reveal an entirely different side, one that feels emotions intensely, desires deep, and that wants transformative bonds and sometimes struggles with trust and control. He is drawn to relationships that challenge him, that make him feel something profound, but at the same time he fears losing himself in them. With Black Moon Lilith also in Scorpio, there's something mysterious about him, a magnetism that pulls people in, but he also has moments of feeling misunderstood and when he wants to keep secrets to protect himself. In astrology, Mars represents drive and passion, but also masculinity and sexual energy. PP Krit's Mars is retrograde and forms challenging aspects to his Neptune in Aquarius and his Sun-Saturn conjunction. Neptune is the planet of dreams, illusions, and dissolving boundaries, and in Aquarius it's about breaking norms and seeing beyond labels. In PP Krit's case, Neptune dissolves the boundaries between his masculine and his feminine side, making him gender fluid, something that influences his relationships, especially romantic ones. It also makes him attractive for both women and men. For PP Krit, gender identity or expression don't fit into traditional categories, and he could go through phases of self-discovery and experimenting with different ways of being. Because Neptune also rules over music, the best way for PP Krit to express this mix of masculinity and femininity is through music and dance. Then there is the opposition to the Sun and Saturn conjunction in Taurus. This is a strong push and pull between who he is, the rules and expectations placed on him, and his raw instinctive drive. Taurus is all about stability, tradition, and the physical world, while Scorpio and Aquarius challenge the traditional view on sexuality and genders. When he was younger, he might have had an inner conflict between who he really was and traditional norms. With Uranus in Aquarius conjunct his South Node, he probably always felt different and has spent much of his life or past lives valuing freedom above all else. He's naturally independent, drawn to unconventional ideas, and unwilling to be put in a box. He feels naturally drawn to unusual or unconventional relationships. His North Node or destiny in Leo shows that he is meant to step into the spotlight and to take control of his own story instead of just going with what feels familiar. Interestingly, Fortuna, the asteroid of luck, is right there with his North Node, meaning his greatest success in life and in his relationships comes when he dares to be himself completely and boldly. His love planet Venus in Gemini adds a playful, curious energy to love and friendships. He flirts, jokes, and thrives on witty conversations. He needs a partner who keeps him engaged and never lets things get boring. In long-term relationships, his Pluto conjunct Juno suggests power dynamics play a major role. With the planet of transformation in close connection to the asteroid of commitment, he is not interested in shallow connections. His relationships transform him. He attracts intense, deep, and sometimes mysterious partners who push him to grow. In friendships, he is drawn to smart, witty, and open-minded people who challenge his ideas but remain loyal. In love, he seeks someone playful yet intense, confident yet trustworthy, a mix of excitement and emotional depth. In business, he works best with partners who respect his independence while offering structure and reliability. Now let's take a look at Billkin's birth chart, who was born on the 8th of October 1999. He is someone who brings a mix of charm, intellect, and practicality into his relationships. On the surface, he appears warm, balanced, and sociable thanks to his Libra sun. He values harmony in his connections and naturally knows how to make people feel comfortable around him. But underneath that easygoing exterior, there's a lot more going on. The predominant element in his birth chart is Earth, meaning that he isn't just about charm. He's also practical, reliable, analytical, and incredibly driven, with a personality that blends logic with ambition. He shows his care through actions rather than just words, making sure that people in his life feel supported. He takes relationships seriously. Whether in friendships, love, or business, he prefers real, solid connections over fleeting emotions. However, with very little water in his chart, emotional expression might not come naturally to him. He is not the type to get overly sentimental or dramatic. He prefers to show love through actions rather than words or grand emotional gestures. When it comes to love, he might not be the most openly romantic person, but he's deeply loyal. With the love planet Venus in the practical sign of Virgo, he expresses love in subtle ways by paying attention to details, helping out, and being there when it matters. He has high standards both for himself and for his partner, so he might take his time before fully opening up. But once he commits, he's dedicated. His Mars in Sagittarius adds a spark of adventure to his otherwise practical nature. While he may be cautious in relationships, when he is passionate about something or someone, he goes all in. He needs excitement and a relationship that allows him space to grow, explore, and learn new things. He can be passionate and fun-loving, but he also values freedom. If a relationship feels too controlling, he might pull away. This shows up even more because of astrology's rebel Uranus placed on his south node. Billkin is not someone who sticks to traditional relationship patterns. He is actually drawn to unusual connections, similar to what we've also seen in PP Krit's chart. Also similar to PP Krit, he has Pluto conjunct Juno, meaning that partnerships in his life tend to be intense and transformative. Whether it's business or personal, the people he gets close to can have a big impact on him. His Uranus square Saturn adds to this push and pull energy. Part of him wants stability, but another part craves change and excitement. Sometimes this can make relationships challenging for him, especially if he feels stuck in a routine. Billkin also has a very challenging aspect in his chart called a T-square involving Jupiter, Mercury, and Neptune. It means that his way of thinking can sometimes be all over the place. He might jump between being extremely logical and practical to being overly idealistic and dreamy. In relationships, this could make it hard for him to fully trust his own judgment. He might either overthink things or believe in someone too easily. When it comes to people he likes, he is drawn to friends who are intelligent, independent, and trustworthy. He enjoys meaningful and deep conversations, but also appreciates those who bring a light-hearted, adventurous energy into his life. In love, he is attracted to someone who is both practical and exciting, someone who has their life together, but also knows how to keep things interesting. He needs a partner who is patient because he isn't one to rush into emotions. He prefers steady, stable love built on trust, mutual respect, and shared goals rather than overwhelming passion or drama. In business, he works well with people who bring structure and clear vision, but also allow him room to explore ideas. He values competence and hard work and respects those who take their commitments seriously. Even from their individual charts, we can already see their deep connection that is built on loyalty, transformation, and personal growth. But let's dive even deeper and take a close look at their synastry. That's a comparison of their birth charts, and the inner circle in this image is PP Krit, while the outer one is Billkin. The two have a dynamic and interesting connection, full of warmth, excitement, and deep emotional exchanges, but also moments of challenge and misunderstandings. Billkin's Sun forms a trine to PP Krit's Venus, showing that they naturally enjoy each other's presence. There is a real sense of affection, admiration, and attraction between them. They appreciate each other's style, personality, and energy, which makes their connection feel easy and enjoyable. However, with PP Krit's Sun squaring Billkin's Uranus and North Node, there's also an element of unpredictability. Sometimes they may struggle with differences in their personal goals or feel like they are pulling each other in unexpected directions. There can be moments of tensions when one of them wants stability while the other one craves change. Communication between them is lively but complicated. Billkin's Mercury is closely connected to PP Krit's Moon and Mars, which means they stimulate each other mentally and emotionally. They likely have deep conversations, and their words can trigger strong feelings. They might even finish each other's sentences or instinctively know what the other is thinking. However, Billkin's Mercury opposes PP Krit's Sun and Saturn, creating some disagreements. At times, PP Krit might feel like Billkin questions or challenges his way of thinking too much, while Billkin might find PP Krit too serious or stubborn in certain situations. With Billkin's Mercury also squaring PP Krit's Neptune, misunderstandings can happen, especially when emotions are involved. They may not always see things clearly or may misinterpret each other's intention. Nevertheless, there is a strong emotional and intuitive bond between them. Billkin's Moon trine PP Krit's Neptune suggests a dreamy, almost magical connection where they just understand each other on a deep level. They probably feel emotionally safe together, and this helps them navigate the more difficult aspects of their relationship. At the same time, their Venus-Mars opposition adds a spark of passion, but also occasional clashes. In a couple's horoscope, this is usually a sign of an irresistible sexual attraction, but can also lead to jealousy. Billkin and PP Krit excite each other, but they might also frustrate each other, especially when their needs don't align perfectly. The Venus-Chiron square adds another layer of emotional sensitivity. There are moments when one of them might feel hurt by the other, even without meaning to. The Mars and Jupiter aspects between them create a mix of energy and challenges. PP Krit's Mars opposing Billkin's Jupiter could mean that while they have a fun and adventurous side together, they might also push each other too much or encourage risky behavior. But at the same time, Billkin's Mars trine PP Krit's Jupiter brings a lot of enthusiasm and motivation to their relationship, making them feel like they can conquer the entire world together. Their Saturn and Uranus aspects add complexity. Billkin's Saturn square PP Krit's Uranus and North Node suggests that they have different approaches to responsibility and freedom. Billkin might sometimes feel like he has to hold things together, while PP Krit might resist any restrictions. This can cause ups and downs, especially in moments when one of them feels like the relationship is changing either too fast or too slowly. Finally, their Pluto and Juno conjunctions indicate that their connection is powerful and deeply transformative. There is something fated about their bond, and whether they are together in a friendship, romantic, or work-related way, they have a strong impact on each other's growth. PP Krit's Pluto and Juno forming a trine to Billkin's North Node further emphasizes that their relationship is meant to shape their life paths in significant ways. And finally, there's the chart of the relationship itself, called composite. The overall good balance of elements in their composite chart means that their connection feels natural. There's a mix of logic, passion, stability, and emotions. However, with a slight accent on water, feelings play a big role, and the two may experience emotional highs and lows together. At the heart of their relationship is the composite Sun-Venus conjunction in Cancer. This makes their bond loving, affectionate, and nurturing. They genuinely care for each other and likely feel at home when they are together. There is a natural sense of comfort and they instinctively want to take care of one another. Asteroid Ceres is also involved in this conjunction and makes this even stronger, adding a deep emotional nourishment to their connection. They give and receive support in a way that feels almost parental. One or both of them might take on the role of protector, making sure that the other one feels valued, is safe, and emotionally fulfilled. This Sun-Venus conjunction is trine Mars in Scorpio, giving their relationship passion and strong energy. There is an intensity in the way they interact, and their connection feels alive and dynamic. They likely motivate each other and bring out each other's confidence. Whether in a romantic or professional setting, this aspect keeps their bond exciting and full of movement. However, Mars in Scorpio also brings a dose of jealousy that can harm their relationship if they don't handle it well. Moreover, this Sun-Venus conjunction forms challenging aspects to Mercury and Jupiter. This creates a moment of tension, especially in communication and expectations. Mercury in Capricorn makes their conversations serious and structured, but Jupiter in Aries can exaggerate things, leading to misunderstandings. At times they might struggle with balancing emotions and logic. One of them might be more expressive while the other takes a more reserved approach. This can lead to disagreement or situations where one person feels unheard. Fortunately, the composite moon keeps things balanced. Its position in Libra adds a need for harmony in their relationship. They prefer to avoid conflict and keep things peaceful, but with other strong aspects in their chart, this isn't always easy. Their emotions are tied to their interactions with each other, and they feel happiest when they are in sync. However, the presence of Uranus forming challenging aspects to their Sun and North Node suggests instability. There may be unexpected changes in their relationship, moments of separation, or sudden shifts and external factors that challenge their connection. Saturn squaring Uranus and the North Node adds to this, making it difficult to find the right balance between commitment and freedom. At times, one of them might want to hold on to stability, while the other feels the need to break free from limitations. Their composite Pluto conjunct Juno in Sagittarius makes their bond transformative and powerful. There is an intensity to their connection that feels almost fated. They push each other to grow whether they realize it or not. Their relationship is not just about comfort, it's about change, evolution, and deep emotional experiences. The Lilith-Chiron conjunction in Sagittarius adds another layer of complexity. Their relationship may bring up hidden wounds, insecurities, or deeper emotional truths. While this can sometimes be challenging, it also creates opportunities for healing and growth. Overall, their relationship is filled with love, care, passion, and emotional depth, but it is not without challenges. It is full of contrasts, structure versus freedom, passion versus logic, but this is what makes them work. Their bond is strong and leaves a lasting impact on both of them, but it also requires effort to navigate the unpredictable ups and downs that come with it. They challenge each other, inspire one another, and bring out sides of themselves they might not have explored alone. And in the end, they have the potential to grow together if they find a balance between emotional connection and individual freedom. Now you know the most important information about Billkin and PP Krit's couple horoscope. Do you think that their relationship feels like their astrology suggests? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe and turn the notifications on if you don't want to miss my next videos about First Kotang, First Senta, and Jungdang. Until the next time, shine bright like the stars.